Another key capability that I like to explain is the service level management. So today, service level management, I think from a definition point of view, I need not reiterate this. It's managing about the service level agreements between our customers and their customers. So now, how these SLAs can be created? Okay, in UAM, there are two ways. One is through the SLA wizard, and second is we can directly go ahead and create the SLA with set of SLOs. I'll just show you a few SLAs that are created for the container monitoring. So let's see this, right? I have a Redis deployment that has been installed in my Kubernetes cluster where there are 3 pods that are running. Now, I don't bother if there are actually instead of 3 there are 5 pods that are running, but 2 are not in the running state, because if I feel that the desired number of pods for a Redis deployment should be 3, I really don't worry if 2 pods are not in the running state. So in that case, if at all we have to create service level agreement that there should always be 3 pods that need to run for this Redis deployment. So the way we can do it is, as you can see over here, there is one service level objective that has been created, that is desired running pods. So this will actually keep a track on how the metric related to Kubernetes namespace total running pods against the Redis target is being measured. And this generally takes duration of the SLA. Let's say, for suppose if my SLA is 1 month, that for a given month, in the month of June, I want 3 pods to be running all the time. And if that is the case, then my SLA compliance is 100%. So now what it will do is it will take the samples for each polling period and ensure that all the polling cycles that happened in a given month duration meeting this threshold. Let's assume that if 1 out of 100 samples did not meet the threshold and it came down to 2 instead of 3. So in that case, the SLA compliance will be 99%. So in this example, there is only one SLO under the SLA, but we can have multiple SLOs in a given SLA. While desired running pods could be one criteria, there could be another criteria like number of restarts or any other metric that is relevant to say that, okay, my Redis deployment on a given Kubernetes cluster is running as expected. So this is one way of creating the SLAs. I'll take another use case. Because we monitor cluster, sometimes it's important that these service level agreements, especially for executives, they don't really bother the details around the pods or containers. They think about how the overall cluster is behaving, what is the overall cluster status, what is the overall health of the cluster. So in that case, let's say for suppose there is Kubernetes cluster availability, that is the service level agreement, and I believe that this can be derived based on 2 SLOs. But another Kubernetes admin may feel there has to be a third SLO that can be added. Now, in this use case, so I have created 2 SLOs. One is the state of the cluster, and second one is the health of the cluster. So for state of the cluster, I have taken the measurement as, let's ensure that all the nodes or the cluster is in a ready state. So there is a metric called quaskube cluster ready, and then this is only one part. Another part is the health of the Kubernetes cluster, right? Even though the cluster is in the ready state, what if the CPU usage is going say 99.99 or memory usage is also going beyond the threshold? So I should always ensure that the overall CPU usage of the cluster or memory is less than a specific threshold. This could be one criteria that can be think of, but it depends. It totally depends on how Kubernetes administrators would really like to have their SLS. But what is important is we are collecting these granular metrics, right? And it's up to the Kubernetes administrators that how they can converge these granular metrics into service level objectives and then group it under a service level agreement. This is how multiple SLAs can be created. And yeah, nodes availability. Now there are 6 nodes. I believe that at least the master node which is running should always be up. in this use case, I have taken that, okay, let's give me 90% weightage for the master node, and let me give 10% weightage to the worker nodes, right? And only the worker nodes which are critical, right? I need not put all the laundry list of worker nodes. So it depends on case by case. So this way also we can create SLAs within UIM for these use cases. Now we have seen that the monitoring configuration is enabled, cause data is collected, alarms will be collected, SLAs are created. Now how can I get that knock screen out? And today, there is no direct integration of SLA into the observability views, but there is a direct provision for that. I'll just take this use case. All right. The SLA percentage that is calculated, right? Let's take this use case of Kubernetes cluster availability. So this is an SLA percentage that is calculated, and consider this as kind of a composite metric or derived from various granular metrics, right? What we have seen. Now what we can do is we can actually get these metrics converted into a single cause using many probes in UAM. In this scenario, I have taken a SQL probe which will directly hit the database and capture this SLA percentage and convert that into a single cause. So that way I can create PRD or a metric view report which I have just shown and then add it back into the observability view. Of course, you can see the trend reports of this. Maybe I'll take a better example. Yeah, so you can see the overall SLA history over here, right? So yeah, I think I have given one demo back in November, and after that I have restarted only in June. So this is a SLA compliance that is achieved. And you can see the trend from month on month. Sometimes it is very important for the customers that, okay, SLA percentage this month is 99.49, but is it better than the previous month or the last few quarters? I think these kind of SLA histories would definitely help the customers from that perspective. All right. So coming back to the statement, now if at all we have to create certain trend reports around this, we can leverage many of other probes to get these SLA percentages straight from the UIM database. Let me quickly demo that part. So what I have done was I have used a very simple SQL response probe which connects to the UIM DB, and what it actually does is, it gets into the SLA definition and captures what is the actual percentage that is achieved. So this way we can actually convert that SLA compliance into a single cause. Now what is the benefit that we do that we get doing this is, let's say suppose the cause is collected. Okay, so we can actually get into the performance report designer. Okay. As you can see over here, this is the compliance what we have seen in the service level management, right? So Kubernetes cluster, and we are talking about Kubernetes cluster availability. So because while on the SLA history we can see month on month, but this will help us to see, okay, on a daily basis, once the SLA percentage gets added, how is the trend looking like? So I need not actually wait for the whole month to be completed to see the trends, but I can also capture the SLA compliance at a specific duration as well, right? Like how it is in the last 1 week. So converting that into a cause would definitely help.